Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, the so-called Ensuring Accountability and Agency Rulemaking Act is a misguided proposal that would ensure that the process of confirming nominees to administrative agencies is even more politicized and onerous than it is today, while also blocking the regular work of our executive branch agencies. This bill would require any agency rule promulgated under the Administrative Procedure Act to be issued and signed by someone who is appointed to their position by the President and confirmed by the Senate. This requirement on its face may seem innocuous, but it provides Congress with a weapon it can wield to prevent the ongoing work of agencies by blocking a President's nominations and leaving an agency without an eligible person to issue regulations. In the past few decades, the process for Senate confirmation has lengthened considerably. Although we have passed measures like the Federal Vacancies Reform Act to ease this burden, there are still over 1,000 executive branch roles that require Senate confirmation, and far too many go unfilled for years at a time as it is. By requiring that rulemaking must be initiated and signed by a Senate-confirmed leader, this bill would make the confirmation process even more politicized, and it could give individual senators even more incentive to block nominations for the sake of a partisan goal. This would add unnecessary delay in the creation, promulgation, and implementation of critical new rules, rules that serve to protect the public's health, safety, and security. The bill's sloppy drafting also adds ambiguity to the process. For example, the bill requires that any rule must be, quote, initiated by a senior appointee. But what action qualifies as, quote, initiating a rule? Is it when it is first raised in a meeting at the agency? Is it when staff starts drafting a notice of proposed rulemaking? Is it when a proposed rule is put out for notice and comment? Is it something in between? We do not know. Determining the answers to these questions will only lead to years of litigation and yet more delays. To the extent that the bill's sponsors are concerned about transparency and accountability in the regulatory process, Congress already has many ways to exercise its authority over the administrative process. For example, Congress can disapprove regulations under the Congressional Review Act, a power this majority has not been shy in using. It can limit agencies' rulemaking authority, it can restrict the use of funds to implement regulations, and it can conduct oversight of agency activity, among other powers. Madam Speaker, this legislation is just the latest effort by Republicans to undermine the regulatory process, a process that protects our health and safety each and every day. Regulations ensure that we have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and safe food to eat. They ensure that children's toys and cribs are safe, that medications are safe and effective, that the planes, trains, and automobiles we depend on for transportation will keep us safe. They ensure that consumers are protected from fraud and discrimination, that workers are treated fairly, that veterans are fairly compensated for their service, and so much more. But Republicans want to stop this process in its tracks and put our health and safety at risk. I urge all my colleagues to oppose this legislation, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman